Hi everyone, welcome to the ninth episode of the Parade Planners podcast. We got a lot to talk about. First, Nadim won't be able to make it today. He's busy, and Dunedin's having some technical issues. So it's just gonna be me, Harmon, and Jaskaran. Let's start off with a breaking trade by the Toronto Maple Leafs. Happened literally right when we were setting up for this podcast. So perfect way to start it out. Mikko Lehtinen traded to Columbus for, I'm probably gonna butcher this pronunciation, but Veini Vehviläinen from Columbus. He's a goalie, Finnish. It's an interesting trade, man. Like, honestly, it makes sense because Mikko Lehtinen, like, as much as like I've liked like the little stuff in his game, like his positioning, his good skating, he just couldn't figure it out fast enough for a team in our position. Like, the Leafs are in a position to compete and grab that number one spot. So I guess it makes sense because they don't have time for Mikko Lehtinen to settle in, figure out his game, learn the ice. So it sucks because he has a lot of potential, but it makes sense. And this guy, I was looking at his stats, Vino or whatever, Venny. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, so I'll call him Venny. But this guy's stats in Liga are insane. This guy has like a 925-ish almost every season. His playoff games in Liga in like 2018 and 2019 were like above 930 save percentage. So it seems like he has a lot of potential. He's a young goalie, 24 years old. A lot of goalies don't come into their own until their late 20s. So it's worth it. And we know Columbus has a history of just producing goalies out of nowhere. So you never know. What do you guys think about this breaking trade?
Yeah, so I think that Miko Lehtinen needed a shot to actually play in the NHL to see what he's like, and it's also a part of what Dubas is doing with the cage of free agents. He doesn't want to waste his opportunity or like his his relationship with other other like cage of free agents out there, because we all know Barbana got a shot like a couple of like a good chance with like Tavares and Nylander, and that's part of the relationship that he established with the Keita like agents and stuff that come over and like have like he just wants to like have the relationship nice and neat so he can like sign more Keita free agents. So I felt like that's a part of the reason why he got traded to Columbus so he can have more playing time.
Like I was going over his stats too, and then like I didn't see his other like stats where you mentioned, but like yeah, I feel like this is a it's a good goalie depth option, because like Leafs don't have that much depth for the goal for like the goalie position, and like if we don't sign Anderson in the off season, like we have like still have like a potential backup where like he could be like the backup goalie, but I think this is a good trade because Lettinen wasn't getting any minutes, and then like we got a goalie that could potentially turn into a starter. So I think it's a win-win for both both teams.
Yeah, like the only
Yeah,
thing I'm concerned about though is like our defense depth. So like Mikko Lehtinen was our seventh defenseman. Like, come injury time, like Sandin is injured right now. Like, sure, once he's back, he'll be a good call up, but who knows how long he's gonna take. Liljegren isn't ready to step in full time, in my opinion, and like I'm willing to give him a shot, but we're literally halfway through the season. There's 26 games left, and we want to keep that first place spot. So you can't just afford to let Liljegren come in. So now I'm worried, like if somebody goes down, who's stepping in? Like we joke about Marty Marincin, blah blah blah, whatever, but like talking seriously, the Leafs have to go out and trade for a depth defenseman now. Like they don't have a choice. Like Dermott, yeah, he's taking the spot. We have a top six that's solidified. I love our top six. Like don't get me wrong. I think the way our top six is playing right now is like amazing. Riley's playing really good. Riley, Brody, like our second pair, third pair, they're good. But if an injury happens, we're screwed. So like I think they need to go out, get maybe one, maybe even two depth defenders just in case.
Okay, yeah, I feel like the Dubas is like he's not gonna stop making moves until he feels like this team is like in the right spot and like he knows like this team is gonna be ready to compete, in the playoffs and just down the stretch in a couple of games. But I think there is more moves coming in, and we can probably see as I think Jeff O'Neill mentioned that they need like a depth defenseman. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna bring at least two or maybe one. Maybe if Sandy comes back, I don't know when his timetable is. But yeah, I feel like we should expect more moves coming in from Dubas.
Yeah, to be honest, I think they trade for a top four defenseman. Not because the top four not solidified, but if we do trade for a top four defenseman, it'd be better for better depth, right? So you get someone like David Savard who can come in for Bogosian or plays Bogosian. Good penalty killer as well. Like you can use him on penalty kill, even though you have Bogosian there, like he's a better penalty killer, he's better puck mover and everything. Like it helps with the penalty kill, especially that they're struggling right now. Yeah. Also, yeah, you just require a depth defenseman if you need you need a really good depth defenseman. Like you need those in the playoffs because injuries happen for sure. Like I remember a stat thing when Vancouver went into the 2011 finals. I think these 13 defensemen. So you never know when your defenseman could go down. You never know Marminson can come in. He plays second pair, first pair. You never know. Like hopefully that never happened, but you never know what happens in the playoffs when it comes to push and shove.
Yeah, like I don't know about a top four defenseman because it's gonna cost a lot of assets, and I I I think our defense core is fine. Like I think I would rather have Bogosian play there and just get the depth guy because yeah, you might need 13 defensemen, but if you need 13 defensemen at that point, like that's just bad luck, right? Like I'm pretty sure the 13 defensemen Vancouver had were not all quote unquote NHL caliber defensemen. You know what I mean? Like they just made do with what they had. So I think it's better to spend those assets getting impact forward because you can break up that top four and getting David Savard just to play like 8 to 10 minutes on the third pairing and like potentially coughing up like a first or a second round pick and a B prospect, it's not worth it. It's more worth it to spend that same asset and put him on a forward line to produce goals. But I don't know, that's just me. But they for sure need to get defensemen. Um, I don't know, like I don't even know who they could target at this point, right? Like, because
Yeah,
it's such a weird
I was
season. I don't
yeah
know.
I was waiting cause we have like I think we have like a 4 day break and we play like I think we play like a lot of games like some kind of nights and then we have a long break as well. So I think Dubas make that transaction like those transaction in between those times just because of the quarantine rules and stuff. Which on insider trading they were like, oh they're trying to get rid of that so the players can come over and like trade deadline won't be that dead, right? But yeah, that quarantine thing is screwing everything over. It's not like you can just get a guy over here just to play like right now and like another good depth defenseman, Mark Pissick. He's in Dallas now. He used to be part of the Florida Panthers. Remember that guy scored like I think he scored a hat trick against us. Um, yeah, him and he only makes 750,000, so you have to see where that goes too.
Yeah, I know they're trying to get rid of that thing, and I know apparently a lot of athletes like across all the sports leagues are starting to get vaccinated, so that's a good sign too. But yeah, it's like you said, like after Sunday, I think they have a 4 or 5 day break where they don't play any games at all. So if they were to make a trade, that would be a perfect time not only for the quarantine thing, but also for the player to like you get the player traded, he flies over to Toronto wherever, and you get your video coaches, you get your assistant coaches, you start teaching that player the systems, right? Because you can't have a player come in and just jump into the lineup. They need to learn the style of play, the systems, the way you play your penalty kill, the way you play your power play, the way you want to set up the zone, et cetera, right? So this 4 or 5 day break is the perfect time. So you never know. Maybe like in the next 2 3 days, like we could see like a big trade happen. But there has to be something happening. Like if not on forward, for sure a depth defender. I think that's almost guaranteed. According to Elliot Friedman, who's gonna be a impact forward coming in, but it's exciting. Like that's one of my favorite things. I love trades. I love when the Leafs make trades. Like, do you remember like when Brian Burke was the GM? We'd always have those like one blockbuster trade a year, and it was like the biggest deal ever. Like, I'm not saying we should go out and make a blockbuster deal, but it's exciting to know that there's gonna be some good trades coming on.
Um, One thing I gotta tip my hat off to Dubas and like Lawrence Gilman is that the Alex Galchenyuk trade. Like even though like didn't like he was like I don't know how to say it, but he's like a non stay. Like he was shipped around like six teams. Like I think he already played for 17 or something like that. But now, like, they want him to succeed, so they sent him down to the AHL because he already went to waivers, like he was cleared, and he went down, and he's playing well. Like they get like I said last episode, and they're coinciding with one another. Greg Moore and like Sheldon Keefe, they're coinciding with one another. Like they have the same systems, so that's a really good thing. So Galchenyuk can get used to our systems, and when he comes up to the NHL, like whenever he does, he's comfortable with that system. So like you were saying, like that impact forward, or like that defenseman, they need like the assistant coach needs to get in. Like I like that what the Leafs on. They're not rushing players to just get them in slam just for the sake of it. They're actually like developing them. They're actually like wanting them to get used to the system and like having the team fit like proper. So it's really nice to see that.
Yeah, I was talking about the trade topic. I was looking at the TSN's trade bait list, and they have some like like the top players that are on there, and like the top five are like Matthias Ekholm, David Savard, Rickard Raquel, Taylor Hall, Nick Foligno. So I feel like Jashka mentioned this too. I feel like the Leafs should target like Rickard Raquel. I feel like he'll be like an impact player that we need, especially for like the second line. I think that's where we're trying to target, like to play in the top six, right? And I feel like that's a player like that you should spend your assets on. And I don't think like we need like a top four defenseman right now, just depth defenseman right now.
Yeah. I was looking at a trade candidate for the Leafs, but he's not on the trade big board or anything. But Dewitt had a relationship with Rob Blake and like the LA Kings system, right? Which I feel is a great asset to have because they have a lot of great players who can come over and play in the Leafs, right? Um, an underrated trade candidate, but I don't think he's going anywhere. Adrian Kempe. He's only making $2 million against the cap for this year and next year, so he's really cheap and he can play center, left wing, and right wing, so he's flexible, and that's what Dubich is looking for. So I don't know if he goes after him or anything, but that'll be a terrific ad.
Yeah, the only thing with Kempe, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's young, so I don't know. Like the Kings are kind of going through this rebuild phase, so I don't know if they want to give up these young guys. But you're right, he'd be a good fit. But we'll see. All right, let's move on to some actual games. First, we'll talk about that disappointing Canucks game on Saturday night. Yeah, what do you guys think about that game, man? It sucked, man. But what do you guys think about that one?
To be honest, I thought it was a slot fest out there. I was getting mad at my TV, just screaming at them. Just trying to like I get frustrated a lot because the standards have gone up, right? So you want them to compete every night, but like you gotta see like they play 5 games in 8 nights. It's not an excuse, but it makes it wear and tear on an athlete. Like you're traveling a lot, you're away from your family, you don't have that motivation. Like you might not have that motivation, but you should because you're a professional athlete. But at the same time, you're a human being, so it it's it's not an excuse, but it is an excuse because they're humans. They're not like it's 5 games in 8 nights. They're really tired. But yeah, it was. They didn't have it at all in the Vancouver series. I could feel it. Like it's not like it's the Leafs. They play what three 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 times three times against Edmonton, and then they had two losses against Vancouver. What else do you expect? It's the Leafs, like it's just the Leafs.
Like there are positives to take out of it though, right? Like for example, the way they lost that Saturday night game was like two quick goals in the third period, and like what was it? I think I want to say it was the third goal. Yeah, it was like the go ahead goal they had Vancouver, where like it was like a bad play by Riley where he like fumbled the puck and then it ended up being like a 2-on-1 or a three on one or something, and then they took the game up 3-2, right? Like, but despite that, like it's one mistake. I get one mistake's gonna lead to goals, but it's that mistake that cost them. And on top of that, they were out chancing them the whole game. And I know we've been saying this after every loss, but even like the loss to Winnipeg, which we'll get to on what was it, Tuesday or Monday, um, they outchanced them. So yeah, in this Vancouver series, they outchanced them in those games, despite being tired. Like Jaskaran said, 5 games in 8 nights. Despite Thatcher Demko playing amazing and Freddie not, which we'll also get to. We'll have a whole segment on Freddie, but like that's the one thing. As much as they lose, you're gonna lose games, and the best teams go on losing streaks, right? Like 3 game losing streak sucks, but that's where you're gonna learn from. Like, you're never gonna have a perfect season. You're not like the Golden State Warriors going like what was it 73-9 or whatever their stupid record was. But you're never gonna have a season where you play 56 games or 52 games and you're gonna win 40 of them. It's not gonna happen. You're gonna lose games. You're gonna lose a bunch of games in a row, and what's important is you don't lose those games by completely giving up. And the Leafs didn't give up that game, which I'll give to them.
Oh, yo, you forgot to mention. Remember when Chicago Blackhawks a couple years ago, they went on like a crazy 22 or 23 game winning streak. Still remember that. But yeah, the Leafs didn't look sharp at all, and like Demko was like saving everything, and like it was just a really frustrating game to watch, and I was so mad. And but then you take in like these guys have been playing like consistently throughout the whole week. So like I kind of like Jaskin said, you shouldn't like that shouldn't be like an excuse, but like I think that wears on you, and you kind of like with all the traveling and stuff, you kind of like you're like the fatigue starts to settle in and stuff. So like you're kind of like tired and stuff, and like you really don't wanna, you're really not focused enough to play in those games. And like now that they had a break, and like now they're facing Winnipeg, so we shall see what they can do in the next game against Winnipeg.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the JT Miller, right, Bala? I think you're talking about JT Miller goal, right?
Yeah, the
The
one
one
where
that were
like
Riley
Riley
from.
fumbled the puck. Yeah.
Yeah, that was some horrible shit right there from Riley. But like, I don't want to say anything because like Riley's been like defensively this year. Like he's been like really struggling defensively. He's had some great performances defensively. Don't get me wrong, but he just been he like he's getting involved more in the offensive play than playing his position, which I like. Don't get me wrong, I like, but then he gets caught sometimes. And we're lucky that Brody's there. He makes it more comfortable to jump up in the play, but you shouldn't be jumping up that much. For Brody has to consistently deny 2-on-1 like over and over again. Like that's like it's getting to me too. Like sometimes I'm just like you're right. You gotta just stop sometimes. Like you gotta be in position sometimes. Like you can't be pinching all the time. Like going behind the net and stuff. But I understand like, Keith gives him like the green light to do his thing. Well, like I'm not saying to do his thing, but yeah, you just gotta be in position sometimes. And with that 3 game, what do you want to call it? 3 game losing streak. I felt they played really well, to be honest with you. I just the second Vancouver game they were sloppy, but we'll get to the first Winnipeg Jets game. But they never got away from their game. That's never I didn't see it because that first I mean sorry, the second Vancouver Canucks game reminded me of last year at least where they were where they didn't give up necessarily, but they were nonchalant about it. They really like sometimes I felt like they didn't really give a shit, but they were like I understand they retired, but it's not an excuse. Like you're professional. Like I don't want to bring that excuse up again, but yeah, it's good dealing with adversity because you gotta deal with the adversity in order to succeed in the playoffs. But you need adversity in the playoffs as well. Cause yeah, that's about it. Like dealing with adversity is the main part.
Talking like about Riley, back to that point. I think you're right. Like I agree with you, just Garden, but I think there has to be a middle ground. Like we talk about other coaches like Babcock forcing players to play a game they don't play, or like we'll get to Line A later, but like Torrell trying to force Line A to play defensively. Like yes, Riley should be a little bit more defensively conscious, but he is an offensive defenseman. He's always been an offensive defenseman, right? And I think the reason, and you said this too, the reason that he's playing more of that offensive role is because Keith told him straight up, like you have Brody behind your back now. Like as much as you don't want Brody defending the 2-1s constantly, they're doing it, and that's the choice Keith made. So it sucks, but it's not like Riley's doing it on purpose. I think he's being told to pinch when he can, try to make that take the risk on that offensive play because Brody is so solid defensively that most of the time it works out. And I'm not saying that's the right choice. I do think there. I don't think he should be completely defensive. I think he should take it maybe like one notch down, but it makes sense why he's doing it. But let's get to this the two Jets games. Connor Hellebuck. That's it. That's my whole thing. Connor Hellebuck.
Yeah, only reason they won those games, the first game was the Cardinal had up the second game. Oh my god.
Dude, like the
I was like
Jets.
screaming at my TV like how is this possible? How is he saving every single little thing? Like even the puck deflection, even Nylander kept on getting stoned over and over again. And I was just screaming at my team like how the fuck is this possible? How? Like how?
Bro, like
Even sorry, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna like go on a little bit of a tear here, but like even on Harmon job, like I was texting him during the game, like how is it possible? Like tell me how. Like I understand the bend that candidate, but he can't be like literally take everything, even crossing passes, like even deflection, or even like how much traffic we are providing in front of the net. Like it wasn't like we were not providing traffic. Like, everything was through traffic, and he was doing every single little thing.
but like it's just crazy because like the Jets didn't look good. You know what I mean? Like I remember like they were so hyped up because like Dubois got traded to them, but like the Jets didn't look that scary like as a team. Like you switch goalies. Imagine we had Hellebuck and they had Anderson. It would have been a bloodbath. Well, what were the scoring chances in that first game? 22-6. We outchanced them 22-6 and we lost the game. Like like that shows you how amazing Connor Hellebuck is, and like I don't think the Leafs in my memory have had a goalie as good as Connor Hellebuck. You know what I mean? Like it just sucks, man, because like odds are we might run into Winnipeg at some point in the playoffs. Like it's gonna happen. We're playing Canadian teams in the first two rounds, and there's only two or three other Canadian teams that will make the playoffs that are on, and like the Jets are probably the best Canadian team in Canada, other than Toronto. So like 80% chance you're gonna run into Connor Hellebuck in a 7 game series, and that scares me, man, because we talk about this all the time about Freddie. Like a goalie that can steal games, like that's Connor Hellebuck. He stole the first game for them. He almost stole the second game for them. Like the Nylander, bro. Nylander should have had 5 goals easily, bro. Even Harvin was saying that, bro. He should have had 6 or 7. Like he could have, like that could have been a multi-goal night for Nylander. He could have pulled what Austin Matthews pulled in his first game. It was crazy, man.
Yeah, I just want to mention two players in that game, Nylander versus Hellebuck. That's basically what it was. But like obviously, everyone else had scoring chances and stuff. But like, I have to give props to Nylander because like even though he faces a lot of adversity, from Twitter trolls and stuff, and like people always say, "Oh, trade Nylander for this guy, this guy." Nah, man, Nylander is you need a player like Nylander who can support the secondary scoring and stuff. So like he's a big part of the team, and I feel like people just take him for granted and they don't mention him enough. And I wanted to mention him for that reason, and I also want to mention that Hellebuck. It just like I don't know like what he was on or anything, but that guy just played like a Vesna game. Like what the hell? This guy was saving everything, bro. Like literally like every shot and stuff, and uh like even I think Matthews had a couple of chances too, and he's just like robbed him and stuff. And like yeah, it was just horrible, man. Just to see like the Leafs playing so good, and then just like they have to face like a like a beast of a goalie, you know.
So do you guys want to get into Freddy now, or do you want to get into later in the session?
Uh, we're gonna do our mid-season report cards for like a bunch of
Oh
positions.
yeah,
Goaltending is one of them.
okay.
So when we get to goaltending, everyone can give
Time.
their little Freddy rant. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So I gotta give props to Austin Matthews. I just gotta give props to him because he's playing with one wrist and he's not shooting as well. But oh my god, that overtime winner, that's just nasty. He froze Hellebuck. He froze him and roofed it, and it was in and out in a hurry. That was one of the most nasty goals I've seen to this. I mean, not Matt Barzal nasty, but that was nasty. I can't believe it. After the game that Hellebuck had, the way Matthews froze him was just pure filth, like pure filth,
man, you could
and
see it
with
on
one wrist.
Hellebuck's face too. Like Hellebuck's face right after that goal, he was like I fucked up. Like he took the bait so hard on that, it was amazing. But man, like the stars showed up that game. Like even like that Nylander goal, like the one where Tavares. Oh my God, bro! Tavares' hands in the middle, like in the slot, and then the pass perfectly to Nylander. Like that was amazing too, man. Like I was so blown away the way like Tavares went straight in between the defenders. He stick handled them, and then he went around wide and passed it right across the ice. Like that was amazing. But like when you're going up a goalie like that, that's what you're gonna have to do. It's either garbage goals or you're gonna have some like ridiculous highlight reel goals.
Yeah. So I just took this in. Our all of our three lines, our first three lines scored. So Mikhail scored, Marner scored, Nylander scored, and Matthews scored. So in order to beat a goalie like that or a team like that, you need to have your whole team buying in and doing the same over and over again. And I gotta give props to the team because they never shied away one bit from their style of play. Like even though Hall jumped and BC didn't protect him, they didn't get away from the game. Just like they didn't get frustrated. Like I even said in the group chat, they can't get frustrated, which they didn't, that's what I like about the team. They don't get frustrated a lot anymore. Like I remember last year team, they would have fizzled out like they would have failed out in the first period, or even at the end of the second period, they would have been like, no, we're done. Like we can't score on them, we're done. Like that's it. I think that's what the mentality was last year with all the veteran leadership as Thornton. Like I brought this up several times in the podcast. Like Thornton's a big guy. Simmons is a big guy, even though he's been out for I think it was 4 or 5 weeks now. He's about to come back, which is huge because Penny did really miss him because the bench has been quieter. You got Bogosian, who's a Stanley Cup champion now, which is weird to say, but yeah, the veteran leadership has been what they've needed the whole time to push these stars, to get these stars to push harder over and over again.
I feel like I gotta shout out Kerfoot too as well, because I think he was like switching lines as well. Like Keith had him on the second line and the fourth line, and he went to the third line, and then he set up that Mikheyev goal, which was crazy, because like Mikheyev doesn't score, but like you have Kerfoot there, setting him up. Cause that was a that was a pretty fun goal to watch.
I'm so excited for the Saturday game though. Like those two games were like there was such a playoff feel to them, and Harmon was saying that in their group chat too. But like those, like I think I missed most of the second game, like the game that was it last night? Yeah, last night. I missed most of the game. I caught the third period in overtime, and holy crap! Like it was one of the most entertaining games this year. It was so fast paced. It was so intense. Like all the lines were electric. Even like Winnipeg, as much as they didn't look as good as the Leafs, they were still electric too, and they were like really into the game. So it was entertaining to watch. So I'm excited for that Saturday game. it's going to be like a winner takes all for this series as well. So it's a crucial game, especially like heading towards playoffs. You want to win these series to prove that you can beat these teams. So it's going to be fun. But let's move on to the next segment. Mid-season report cards. It's halfway through the season now. Leafs have played 28 games, which is the second most in the league or third most in the league. So like over halfway through the season. We're gonna go through season report cards. So we'll go one by one. So we'll start off with the overall report card, offense, defense, goaltending. That'll be fun. Special teams, and then coaching. So we'll go in order. So we'll go first Jaskaran, then Harmon, then we'll go me. Okay. So Jaskaran, you can start off with your overall report card, your overall grade.
Overall, I gotta give it um like a B plus. I'm not saying they like no, I change that. I gotta give them A minus, cause the record's shown that they've been really good and they've been playing really good. I'm not gonna lie, they've been playing decently well. Like I'm surprised that they've been this good, right? But it's just we gotta talk about the goaltending. That's the only thing that's holding me back about this team. Yeah, that's the overall grade. I'm gonna give them A minus.
Uh, so the grade that I would give the Leafs right now is probably an A, because like I feel like they're like the offense has been really good. Everything has been very solid. But like I think Jaskin already mentioned my point. I was gonna say the goaltending has been inconsistent, which I feel like they could improve on, and that's one big factor. I feel like they need to fix right now before they make any other kind of like moves or something. So I think they really need to, like, I don't know like what it is, but like yeah, they need to fix the goaltending situation there. But yeah, I'll give them a.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and give them that A plus. This is the best Leafs team I've ever seen in my lifetime. So there's no way I don't give that an A plus. Every team has their flaws. We're gonna talk about goaltending. They had the 3 game losing streak. They lost some bad games to Ottawa. But like again, no team is perfect, right? Like you're never gonna have a perfect team. Even Tampa had their problems. They were not a perfect team. So to me, like watching the best Leafs team I've ever seen, watching a competent defense core gives me a reason to give it an A plus. All right, we'll start next with the offense now. So just all the offensive players, um, goal scoring, all that stuff. What do you guys think?
Offense, I gotta give them A on the dot. It's been really outstanding. Actually, I'm getting an A plus because it's really outstanding. Like the way the lines are configured, that has their own chemistry. Like even Spezza and like I think Spezza was saying they have like every line has their own way of playing. So like the first time they cycle and they get the puck to slot. Nylander and Tavares they break through and like they all have their own like chemistry, which is really good because no one can predict that.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this Leafs offense right now. I'm gonna give it a A plus as well. I feel like um, they're going full on all cylinders right now, and yeah, they're all like producing, which is what you want for a team that's that's gonna contend. So I feel like right now they're at A plus.
All right, I'll give it a A minus, and the only reason I'm giving it an A minus is because there's still room to. Well, one, the injuries. Like I don't think we've seen the full lineup play for a long period of time. So I don't want to give it the full A or A plus until I see how the entire line with no injuries fits and works together. And then on top of that, like we're hearing all these rumors about the Leafs acquiring an impact forward. So the fact that they still need an impact forward is what's preventing me from giving it that A or A plus. So I think maybe once we get that impact forward, we get Wayne Simmons back, and we get the whole lineup fully fleshed out and going, then I'll bump that up to A or A plus. All right.
Okay. Sorry.
So
I'm just gonna bring up a stat here.
yeah, go for it.
So their second in goals for per game is 3.46, and their goals for in total they have 90. I think it's 97, and that's first in the league. With Edmonton having 93, which is the second in the league. So um, that's a really good stat for the offense. They're scoring a lot of goals, which we need, which we're built off of, right?
Yeah, and like they're out chancing the opposite team night in and night out, whether it's a win or a loss. They're generating chances. There's that one game against Winnipeg where they hit like literally 5 or 6 crossbars. So
Yeah.
and even like those games against Calgary, like those losses, like they were still in those games creating chances, creating opportunities over and over and over. So yeah, like it's just for me, it's just the fact that we haven't seen the full lineup and that we need an impact forward. Like then I'll give it that A plus. All right, let's move on to defense. That's next. Previous years, this would be a horrible stat, but I have a feeling it's not gonna be this time.
Defense. I'm gonna give it a B. I'm gonna give it a B plus. Just cause of like um, sometimes they get like lackadaisical, which I don't like, and they like the way Dewis built the team. Like I like it. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like I like the team. Like they brought in chemistry. They brought in guys who think they work in the system, and they worked in the system. Like I can't. Like I'm not gonna lie. It's been a really good system that they're playing. Cause Keith and Dubas are like they're talking to one another, which Babcock wouldn't do with Dubas, right? Um, yeah. So I'm gonna give it a B because um, like just because they get lackadaisical at times, they forget to position, which happens to all defenses. But like we'll have to see in the playoffs how they do.
Okay, I think Harmon just stepped away for a minute, so we'll get his grade right after mine. Yeah, I'm giving it A plus. Um, like I said before, never seen a decor this solid. The additions of TJ Brody and Zach Bogosian alone, like completely changed this decor. You have Riley playing, like we talked about before. He's being allowed to play more offense. TJ Brody is a stud defensively. Jake Muzzin is Jake Muzzin. Justin Hall is my Norris candidate. And then like Zach Bogosian, man, like he has by far exceeded my expectations. I was all for Zach Bogosian like playing the way he did in Buffalo. Like, that's what I thought he was gonna come and do. I know he had this great run with Tampa, but I didn't believe it. And now seeing it, I believe it. And like even Justin Hall, man, like right before the season, I think it was like our first podcast episode, our very first one. I was saying we should trade like Justin Hall. I wasn't a fan. I was like, okay, like I don't believe him. Like I've only seen him for like what we saw him for like maybe 40 games, 50 games last year or something like that. I don't know if he played the whole season, but like I didn't believe in the Justin Hall hype. I didn't like his contract, but he proved me wrong so far. And I'm giving it an A plus because of the top six, but they need depth. Like if they can get one or two depth forwards, I think like they easily have one of the best decors in the league because the way these guys are shutting down the offense on other teams is amazing. And if it wasn't for the goaltending, which we keep saying over and over, like this team would be insane in the goals against department, even better than they are right now.
Yeah, like with Bogosian, like you're saying, I think it was 6 years in Buffalo or like whatever he was there for. The 6 years in Buffalo he was there for, like that really changed his reputation in the league as like a slow moving, he can't do anything right defenseman. And when he went to Tampa, he rejuvenated his game, which I felt he needed that trip to a playoff, to a Stanley Cup final to really like regain that reputation of a more of a defensive defenseman and being able to like, protect guys in front of the net, like box with guys, like what he's good at. And he like in Buffalo, he was in the top four, which he's not meant to do, or even in the top two, which he's not meant to do. Like even the third overall pick, he's not meant to like going like pinch up and like do all these sorts of things, right? Like the game has changed and he is evolved with it, but um yeah, that reputation kind of changed when he went to Tampa, and the Leafs really like that change when he went to Tampa. So I guess that's why they signed him.
So the grade I'll give the Leafs defense right now is I'll give it a B plus. I feel like when they add more depth, they'll be like better long term. So I feel like they're missing that depth right now because they just lost Mikko Lettinen to trade right now, and I feel like they need that depth option. So I'm not gonna give them the full A yet. Um, I feel like there's room for improvement. Like Hall makes some mistakes, like when you see in the game, and then you see Riley needs to like improve on his defensive side. I'm not saying he's like a two-way defenseman, but like he could be better on on the defensive side. So I feel like Barry has been. I mean, no, sorry, Brody. What am I saying, Barry? Brody has been very well for the Leafs right now, and yeah, and like the whole defensive core right now is pretty good. But I'm not gonna give him the full A, so I'll give him a B plus.
Yeah, it's fair. Like the depth is definitely a need. Um, all right, goaltending. This is what we've been waiting the last 40 minutes to talk about. Uh, oh boy. All right, just fine. You go for it.
So where do we start here?
Hey. Also remember, goaltending is not only Freddie. You gotta remember Campbell
Yeah,
and
I know.
Hutchinson too.
But
Okay.
Freddie most of it. You know what I mean? Right, Freddie most of it. So Freddie played the more game most games. Let me just put up a save percentage just in case, cause I wanna get the right on the dot. So what I have problem with the goaltending is okay. I'm gonna give it a C. I'm gonna give it a C because we haven't seen Campbell. We've seen Hutchinson. But Hutchinson been playing decently well, surprisingly, which we should we I wouldn't have been saying this season compared to last season, which is a mess because the defense was a mess too. Um, but let's get to Freddie. Let's just get to straight to it. So Freddie, like the way he's been doing is not well. Like I wouldn't trust him in a playoff game whatsoever. Like right now, hell no, I wouldn't start him in a playoff game. I don't trust him at all. But like you just need a save here and there. Like you need to be consistently there for your team in order to make a save. Like I remember that Mason Appleton goal. Like you could have saved. Like he was so either he's injured or he's not playing as well as he did. I'm guessing the latter, or yeah, the latter, because he's been like this since last season as well. He wasn't that good as last season because he got outdo by Corpusalo in the playoff. He got outdo by Rask 2 times, which I don't blame him getting outdo by Rask, but he was yeah, he just needs to be better. He just needs to be better the goalie. He just needs to be better goalie overall, which he can't be a second best goalie every single playoff series. Like he was the second best goalie against Ras 2 times. He was the second best goalie against what's his name against Corpusalo. He's the second best goalie against Hopi, which which is insane because you need him to be your starter. That's what you pay $5 million for, and he's not doing that whatsoever. And also the way he's playing right now is my brother was saying that which is correct. He's regressing. He is regressing. He's regressing so fast that Campbell can skip him and he can become the starter straight up, and that'll be amazing because he needs to be that like Campbell like if you can Campbell for 1 point what did he make like 1.6 or $2 million against the Cap, and he can have a starter for that much. That's great. That's magnificent. That's a great add to a team. But the way Freddie's playing, like I wouldn't trust him in a playoff game whatsoever. But as of now, if he can play, but the thing is, if he does play like play well throughout the regular season now, he needs to prove in the playoffs. Because if he doesn't put in the playoffs, then it's a problem. Then he can like a team can pay him for sure. He's gonna get paid in the free agent market for sure, but not here. He's not gonna get paid it whatsoever. And if Dubas paid him, then that's a mistake on him.
Also, what was your grade? I don't know. I didn't
I gotta
hear it.
see.
Oh, you could put it a C. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, the Leafs goaltending. I'm not gonna talk too much of it because Jaskin already probably mentioned most of it. Hutchinson has been surprisingly good, especially what he's been through last season and stuff. So like he's been solid. Jack Campbell's solid, even though he felt he had an injury as well. And Frederick Anderson, where do I start? Like he just really inconsistent, and I feel like I don't know like what he'd get in the like the free agent market, but I know like the Leafs are not gonna be paying him, like that much that much money. I don't know like how much he wants, but like I feel like yeah, like there's like even in the playoffs, like you need a consistent goalie, and like he hasn't been that consistent in the playoffs as well. And I feel like Jack Campbell is like he could take over that one or that like that first spot, like a starting position. So right now I'm not gonna be too harsh like Jasmine, so I'm gonna give them a C plus. I feel like they are good, but they're not good enough to where, they could be like amazing and like have like a plus grade, but I'm gonna give them a C plus right now.
All right, we got Tanegan back now after a lot of technical difficulties, but he's good now. So Tanegan, we were just giving our mid-season report cards for the Leafs. We already went through overall offense, defense. You can just jump in and go right into the controversial one. What's your goaltending grade for the season so far?
Yo, so I was preparing for the podcast and I was writing down some notes, and all the notes on goaltending were brutal. Like I was picking apart Anderson, I was picking apart like all his games this past season, uh, the games he's played since he joined the Maple Leafs, and like I'm ready to dive in and annihilate this guy. So
Oh boy, all right, here
for
we go.
for Frederick Anderson, or for overall goaltending, I would give them a C minus. The reason being is that our number one goalie has to be the one that's leading the way. And while Campbell and Hutchinson have been pretty good, it's on Anderson to be our number one starter. And so far this season, he hasn't shown any of that, right? Like our expectations for Anderson is for him to be like a top 10 goalie in this league. Otherwise, like if you look at all the teams in the playoffs and like that are contending, Vasilevsky, Hellebuck, all these guys, they all play to a certain level that you need to make it to the finals, right? With Anderson, like it's nowhere near that. Like if you look at the past 4 games, what is his save percentage? It's like in the 800s or something. And if you look at overall in the season, I think his save percentage is like 904 or something. That's brutal. So I don't know what you guys gave goaltending, but for me it would be a C.
All right. Also, I'm gonna go next for goaltending, but yo, Tanegan, just quickly, um, just give us your overall grade for the season, your offensive grade and your defensive grade, and then we'll continue.
All right, for offense, I would give it a an A, and that's because our superstars have been giving proper production. Usually, our secondary scoring is ass, but this season it's actually pretty good. And then for defense, I would give it a A minus. A minus only because, or it would be a A plus if it weren't for Riley. So I have high expectations for Morgan Riley because everyone calls him our number one defenseman, and he hasn't met my expectations defensively this season. But everyone else on defense has met my expectations, so I'd give it an A minus.
All right, awesome. All right, it's my turn now to go in on the goalies after everybody else did. Yeah, like mine's a C plus. Like the only reason it's a C plus and not like a D or a C minus is because of Campbell playing great, because of Hutchinson playing great. Um, man, like Frederick Anderson's just not it, man. Like he, if you want to win in the playoffs, your goalie needs to steal games for you. It's honestly as simple as that. Like that's all there is to it. Like Frederick Anderson does not steal games. Like Can you guys think of any game this season? Like, okay, I don't care what Frederick Anderson. Let's say 3, 4 years ago when he just joined the Leafs, he was stealing games. I don't care. The goalies are not good for their whole career. Carey Price is a key example of that. This guy, in the past, would steal games for Montreal. He would carry them through playoff rounds, whatever. He's not good now, and he sucks, and they need a new goalie. Like, it's as simple as that. So for me, when has Frederick Anderson stolen a game in the past 1 to 2 years, and how many playoff games has he stolen? 0 playoff games, maybe a small handful of regular season games, and none of them are this year. So at what point do you look at your goaltending situation and be like, can my team play so good that it doesn't matter if Frederick Anderson steals the game or not? And all you have to do is look at these 2 games against the Jets. Look at the games against Winnipeg. Like, literally look at the games against Edmonton. Like, no. Straight up, it's a no. Like, he gets outplayed every night. Like, Hellebuck was the best goalie in that series. I know Just already said this. Like, it seems like almost every time we're playing Frederick Anderson, he's the second best goalie on the ice, and that is not what you want for a team competing for the Stanley Cup Finals. Now, the only thing that concerns me though is like Campbell is not proven. So yeah, you get rid of Frederick Anderson in the off season, but then what? Like, let's say Campbell comes in next year and he isn't the goalie we thought he was because he doesn't have a track record. So what happens then, right? So it's such a shitty situation for the Leafs to be in. And I hope Dubas, he traded for that young goalie today. Hopefully that's a sign of him moving in the right direction. But I hope he hires the best goalie evaluation staff in the league, and he gets a good look at some undervalued goalies around the league, and he gets them on the team, and they start to steal games for this team. Because if the Leafs had Connor Hellebuck, they would win the cup. Like, there's no question at all. So yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's move on to special teams.
I got a stat. So last, I think I read a stat something like 3 out of the last 5 cup winners have wanted their backup goalies. So like you gotta start. You can't keep starting Freddie. That's on Keith's part. You can't keep starting Freddie because Freddie's a starter. You gotta start the hot hand. So Campbell gets on fire. You just gotta keep starting. You can't keep starting Freddie over and over again. That's the thought I have because Bennington was a backup. Bennington was even in the NHL. He was in the AHL at one point. They called him up. He's magnificent for them since that 2019 Cup run. Like Hopi was a backup Gruber, and then Hopi went on a hot run in the playoffs, and they rode him. Matt Murray back up again to Fleury. Fleury was struggling. Matt Murray went on a hot streak. That's the thing. That's why I have goalie depth. That's the only reason why. Because it's very struggling in playoffs. You put Campbell in, he goes on fire. You ride that hot hand as long as you can.
Just kind of what's your thoughts on the special teams so far?
So special teams. I like the power play. Power play. Manny Mahocha done a really good job of coming in. He's been a magnificent face-off coach for the guys. They've been winning a lot more face-offs than last year. That's been excellent. And like the thing is, the assistant coaches are getting to do their job, unlike before. But I don't want to like bring up it over and over again. But the other assistant coaches didn't get to do what they wanted, which is kind of like bad, right? But like Manny Mahocha's done a really good job with the power play. The PK's been like bad. Like I'm not gonna say. Ilya Mikheyev could have some short-handed goals. Like he could be leading the league in short-handed goals if you could just goddamn shoot the puck properly in the back of the net. Um, yeah. So I gotta give it like a B just because of the power play being on one side and the PK being on the other side. That's the only reason why I gotta give it a B. Or else it would have been like an A minus because the PK was doing well.
I'm gonna give it so like I'm kind of evaluating the penalty kill as well, and I think it's a B plus at their overall grade because I feel like the power play has been really good. The penalty kill has been good in the start, But like now it's kind of like not doing as well. But like I feel like that's where they need to improve is on the penalty kill, maybe even score a shorthanded goal. Mikheyev, please. But yeah, I I'm gonna give it like a B plus right now because just because the power play is kind of like it's it's doing really well right now.
Yeah, I would give them an overall grade of B as well, mainly because of the power play. Power play, they rank, let me check, they rank second in the league with 31.3 percentage. Only Carolina's ahead of them. So, like, their power play is clearly working. The only thing that I don't like about their power play is that sometimes it feels like it's all over the place with who's on the power play, right? Like, I think at the start of the season, they were splitting up the units with Matthews, Marner, and then Tavares and Nylander. And then sometimes now we see like a mix of different players, and that's also because of injuries too. But hopefully later on in the season, we like see it calm down a bit. And then for PK, as Jaskran and Harmon mentioned, like nothing special is you know coming out of it. Um, I do like the breakaway chances by Mikheyev and Marner and all those guys, Engvall as well. I just want to see those guys finish on those chances because I don't want another Grabner or Kapanen situation happening again. But yeah, overall score I would give us a B.
Yeah, like I'm in the same boat. A B is fine, like just average. And again, like you guys said it already, so I'm not gonna keep repeating the same point. But power plays looked amazing. Props to Manny Malhotra, second in the league. You said Dunedin, and splitting in. What was the penalty kill? What was the ranking? 20th.
Penalty kill is 20th. Yeah,
Yeah, like
77.2 percentage.
yeah, that's not acceptable. Like I'm assuming teams like Boston and Tampa are not that low. So if you have these juggernaut teams who most likely have a better penalty kill than you, like it's a bad sign. So I don't know what they can do, how they can change that up. I'm hoping that it's trending upwards at least. We'll see, but yeah, power play is amazing. Penalty kill sucks. So that's
I'm
all
just
it is.
And
gonna, yeah, I'm
on
just
what
gonna
you said about what you said about on like about the PK, how about Boston and Tampa, like Boston and Tampa are 1 and 2 in the league for
Yeah, like
PK.
that's what I'm saying. Like those are the two teams that are going for the cup right now. And
Yeah,
sorry,
and
where does Carolina rank? You said they were first in power play, so where do they rank in penalty kill?
they rank 10th.
See, this is what I'm saying. Like, if we were 10th, this would be an A for me, an A for special teams. Because if you have the number one power play and the 10th overall penalty kill, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. But you can't have the 20th ranked penalty kill because at this point, it doesn't matter how many goals you're getting on your power play. It means you're gonna give up probably just as many on the penalty kill. So yeah,
hold on. I just check one thing, cause I want to check who's in net. So um, for Carolina, you got Mrazek and Reimer. Do you think Mrazek and Reimer are outdueling Frederick Anderson, which I think they are now?
bro, Dan like Riddich is outdoing Frederick Anderson.
Yeah, and like um and like Vasilevsky, who else is there? Vasilevsky, there's Rast, there's Halak, who's out. Halak, the backup goalie for thing, he's out dueling Freddie Anderson right now. I just wanna okay Tanigan, you already had the stop. Hold on, my laptop's a mess right now, but um Tanigan, who's the top ten in the league? Like who in the PK? Who top 10 in the league? Just tell me off the bat.
All right, top 10 teams in the league for PK are Boston, Tampa, Vegas, Rangers, Colorado, Minnesota, Arizona, Los Angeles Kings, and New York Islanders, and then lastly Carolina.
Okay, so third is who? Third is
Vegas,
Vegas, Fleury. I don't know the backup, but Fleury's been playing most of the games. Who's fourth?
New York Rangers,
Near Gorey Gibbons Shesterkin. Who's fifth?
Colorado,
So Grubauer and whoever the backup Francouz, who's sixth?
Minnesota.
Kakkonen and Cam Talbot. Kakkonen's been really good this season. Um, eighth.
Eighth or seventh is Arizona, and then eighth is
Se-
LA.
so seventh, Darcy Kemper and Antti Ranta. Um, eighth is Jonathan Quick and Cal Peterson. Who's ninth? The Islanders.
I'll, yeah.
The Islanders they have um Sorokin and Varlamov, and you see all these guys, they're better than Freddie. Like straight up, I'm not gonna blame Freddie for PK, because the PK's been like it's been their own problem. But on the PK, your probably your best man is supposed to be your goaltending, and that's where Freddie has a problem too, right? So I'm not gonna say anything other than that. They like all those goalies are better than Freddie as of now. And Kakkonen's a rookie. Take that in. Kakkonen is a rookie, and he's playing better than Freddie.
Oh man,
So,
but it
so
just
I know
sucks. Like,
Nadim's not here, but Nadim mentioned that I think one of the Winnipeg games we were all pointing our fingers at Anderson, and then Nadim brought up a good point. He's like, we shouldn't be pointing our fingers at Anderson because it's our fault in the first place for having such high expectations, right? Like I do see like the other side of like, oh, like we shouldn't be expecting Freddie Anderson to be a Vesna star goalie, but like we need those key timely saves, and like if a guy like Jack Campbell can provide that as well, like if both Anderson and Jack Campbell aren't going to be top 10 goalies, then what's the point of defending Anderson as our starter, right? Like why can't we do a 1A 1B situation?
no, and that's one of my main points is like I've been defending Freddie for like 3 or 4 years now, and I'm done now. Like I can't keep defending this guy if he's not gonna play the way I've been defending him for. Like at this point, he's not a top 10 goalie. Like it's clear. It's like blatantly clear. And you're right, then Egan. I can't wait for Jack Campbell to come in because Campbell and Anderson should be given 50-50 starts from this point forward. And whoever gives you a better record going into the playoffs, that's your goalie in the playoffs. That's your goalie against Montreal or Edmonton or Winnipeg or whoever it is. It's whoever is better from Campbell and Freddie from now onwards. Because you're right. Like if Freddie can't prove that he can steal games, why is he the starter?
All right, let me ask you one more question. So, if we do decide to let go of Anderson in the offseason, we'll have Campbell, and then we have a selection of um, Tuukka Rask, Reimer, Elliott, Halak, and Smith in the UFA market. Who would you go after?
None of them. I
Yeah.
would
None
do
of them?
I would do a no sorry, but I would do a trade. I would the two goalies in Columbus. They're clearly better. I don't know how well they're doing right now, but Corpatalo would be a good addition. Kemper in Arizona, Antti Ranta in Arizona. They both could go in the offseason because I know the Arizona Coyote might be wanting to get rid of money. Those are just a couple options that maybe going on in the league they can maybe have.
Yeah, like, so as you mentioned, like, there's not that many good options for us to go after in the free agent market. So, like, if we do decide not to do a trade and go after a UFA, after all, like, I wouldn't mind picking up a guy like Halak, because Halak has been a solid backup for Boston for like for how many years now, right? Like, and you don't have to rely on him like too much. He's just another 1B goalie, like playing 30 games a season. That's doable for a guy like Halak.
Yeah, but the thing about Halak is he's old now. He's like 32, 34. You can't be relying on a 33, 34 year old goalie to go get you games, right? To make you like a contender. Like you can't be doing that. And I think for the playoffs you need a certified goalie. So if you think that oh you can do 1A 1B in the in the regular season, that's fine. But you need a you need a constant goalie to come in the playoffs and just shut the door whenever you can. Cause I remember with Columbus, they had Corpusalo mostly. They had Merlurkin starting. They had Corpusalo starting with the thing. So with in the playoffs, so most of the games. So that's what I feel like you need to do, right? You need to have a good constant goalie in the net, a consistent one at least.
But yo, Josh, you're forgetting
Yeah.
Tampa Bay has Curtis McElhaney. I know he's not playing as much because they have Vasilevsky, but they still have Curtis McElhaney as their backup. So like I think Halak is not a bad option as a backup goalie. Maybe not as starter, but like backup goalie, he could still be a pretty solid candidate.
Yeah, but you're talking about Vasilevsky and Rast, right? Vasilevsky is more younger and Rast is more older, and that's why they're splitting games. I feel like, but that's just up to me. Just give me a second. Let me put up all the goalies in the league. Give me a second. Um, you guys can go ahead and talk until then.
Yeah, I do think like what you're saying is right. Like what you're saying is true. Like even if we do get a solid backup, it doesn't fix our problem of having a true number one starter in the playoff time, and in like situations where we need big saves. I think like the hope is that Jack Campbell like rises to the occasion. I guess next season when he has his first chance to become a starter, because like every time we've seen Jack Campbell play in LA and in Toronto, he's always been nearly a starter level type of goalie, right? But he's never had that chance. Jonathan Quick ahead of him in LA, and then Anderson ahead of him in Toronto. Like I don't think he's been given a fair chance at that number one position. So like I would like to see that happen next season, but obviously like if we do have better options in trade, then yeah, go for that I guess.
So like, what do you guys think about a guy like Alexander Gorgiev with the New York Rangers? Remember that was the name brought up several times when we needed a backup last year, but we got Campbell instead. What do you guys think of that?
I doubt the New York Rangers are gonna make that trade, especially because Gorgiev's not that old either. He's like what, 25, 26. So like I don't think they're gonna make that trade.
Well, I think they probably would make that trade, but in the right circumstances, cause they can't have two young goalies back to back, right? They need a guy who can come in and provide a veteran presence to Igor Shesterkin, right? Because Shesterkin, I know they want Shesterkin to be their number one starter of the future. Um, yeah, so Shesterkin needs a very veteran guy, so they bring a guy like Halak or like even who who's in the freedom market right now. I'm not sure who else is there, but they bring in a guy for Shesterkin to learn off of. Yeah, they can't be just grinding the young guy because they need better presence as well too, right? That's why I think they can bring in um what's his name Georgiev. He can be a really good guy and he's cheap too, and you don't have to pay him as much because the goalie market it's not that good right now because you get Bennington at 6 times 6, but we'll get later into the show about.
But yo, okay, you said that Gorgiev's like he could potentially get traded. But yo, look at Pittsburgh. They have Casey DeSmith and Tristan Jarry. Aren't they like this like almost the same age as Thing?
But thing is,
Like they're not that far off in age.
yeah,
Wait, what
but
are you
the
saying?
thing
Go
is,
ahead.
Tristan, yeah, sorry, but the thing that Tristan Jarry had like he was learning off Matt Murray. Matt Murray been to the cup final, but Georgiev and Shesterkin have been like they just came into the league last year. You can't or like Georgiev been in the league for 2 years, which is not enough years. And Shesterkin, he's a rookie in the league still. He's still a rookie, and I feel like they need to yeah they need to have a better presence. Even though they had Lundqvist for a year, Shesterkin didn't learn off him probably because he was recalled and like halfway through the season. So I feel like Georgiev would be the perfect guy to go after. Which, personally, I wouldn't have thought because stupid Drager said, oh, you need to trade with Sandy. And Sandy went in like, and I'm like, shut the fuck up, man. And now he's trying to drive, you guess the quotes online, they're trying to drive up the price for Hyman and Morgan Riley. Like, bro, fuck off, man. Like, we don't need you. We don't need your fucking nonsense, stupid bitch.
So I was looking up the ages of Pittsburgh goalies, and Tristan Jarry's 25, but Casey DeSmith is 29. Like, I had no idea he was that old.
Yeah, Casey DeMeth is pretty
Yo, I
old.
thought
I'm not even gonna lie, he's pretty old.
yeah, I thought he was
Like, go
like
ahead, Hamza.
younger, like maybe 27. Never mind.
I thought he was
But yeah.
25 to be honest with you, but he's 29. That's a lot. And he's been really good. Talking about goalies, yeah, just that, yeah, that's about it. And if you can maybe get Jake Ottinger out of, I don't think they do this, but if you can get Jake Ottinger out of Dallas, that'd be really interesting too, because he had a really good rookie season as well. I know goalies are voodoo, but he could be a really interesting target if the Leafs want to go after him, cause that crease is pretty crowded at the moment. I think Bishop's still hurt. I don't know where Bishop's going, but yeah, he's still hurt, and Hero's been taking over the net. But Ottinger, when he had to come in, he's been really good too.
How much
Yo,
do you think it would take to
yo,
get Darcy Kemper out of Arizona?
Darcy Kemper, that's gonna take like a beat of a prospect and maybe a second round pick or even a first round pick maybe, or it could be a first to third, depending on how Kemper does this season. Because Kemper almost stole the series against the Avalanche from from the Avalanche, and he almost single-handedly he was saving everything, like every single other thing, and that's a playoff. And he had a shitty team in front of him in Arizona. Like
Yeah, he's
imagine
an
him with the
amazing
Leafs.
goalie.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
an
and like he's
amazing
playing for
goalie.
a shitty team. Like,
Yeah.
why waste his time on Arizona while he could play for a contending team like Toronto?
Yeah, but the thing is, he only has a year left of his contract. I don't know if Dubas wants to do a year, and then I think he's 31 as well. So you never know. He could be regressing as well. You never know because Freddie's regressing too, right? So I would rather go after a young goalie than like a. Sorry, I'm thinking out here. Than an older goalie. Like I want a young goalie than an older goalie. Like Gorgiev would be the perfect example because he has game played in NHL. Where like a guy like Ottinger wouldn't have like um like a like a much game played. Okay, so since Barrage is not here, I'm gonna just go off to the next topic. Coaching. Let's give our grades. Harmon, you wanna go first?
the coaching right now, I'll give it a I'll give it A minus because I feel like it has been very like they've been like outscoring the team and stuff. The power play has been very, very good. So like they're doing a good job at that as well. The penalty kill's been okay. So like the coaching, I feel like it's A minus because like they're doing very well, but like they're still losing the games. So like I don't know, like I don't know what it is, but like I feel like they need to improve like maybe their tactics of letting, like the star players getting more minutes and stuff. So like yeah, I feel like it's an A minus right now.
Yeah, I'd give it a A minus as well. My reasoning is a little different, but I'm nitpicking here. But I don't like the way how he's deploying Thornton on the top line. I know we've talked about it before, and like Thornton's an elite passer, but I think we have better players that could play that position. Like I like the third line of Mikheyev, Engvall, and Hyman, but I do think that any one of Mikheyev and Hyman could play much better on that top left wing beside Matthews and Marner. Um, yeah, and then also I don't like how Tavares and Nylander's minutes aren't anywhere as high as Matthews and Marner. Like, yeah, Matthews and Marner are superstars for the team, and they're playing like 22, 23 minutes a night. But Tavares and Nylander are like, I haven't checked, but lately they've been playing like 16 minutes a night. And like when guys like Mikheyev and Hyman or Mikheyev are playing 15 minutes a night, like you have to have a separation in minutes between the true stars of the team and like the secondary scoring, right? Like, and at this, I think it was like 2 or 3 podcasts ago, we were talking about how Tavares and Nylander were in a mini slump. I think Keefe could have done better there and like sparked Tavares and Nylander more by mixing up the lines, playing them a little bit more, something to get them going. But overall, like I still give it an A minus because the difference between this team and like Mike Babcock's team is light years of difference. Like it's crazy, right? Like if Leafs win the cup this year, it will be because of Keefe, right? And not because of my nitpicking reasons, but yeah.
All right, guys. Sorry, yeah, I'm back now. Just had to step away for a phone call, but I think we're on coaching now, so came back at the perfect time. Um, Wait, I don't think I gave the special teams a grade. Actually, I think I did. Yeah, sorry. Okay, yeah. So for coaching, I'll give the coaching an A plus. Actually, I think Sheldon Keefe has been phenomenal. I think he should be up for the Jack Adams this year. Despite all our injuries we've had, we're still first in the league. Although some of the teams behind us have some games in hand, but the Leafs are playing amazing. They're playing the best hockey they've played in years, and all the players love Sheldon Keefe. So I think that's all that matters. Sheldon Keefe is willing to make adjustments, make movements, and just like Dunnigan said, the one thing I wouldn't pick about is about ice time. Nylander and Tavares don't have as much ice time, but I think the reason that they don't is because Keefe has made such a great fourth line that he has no choice but to give Spezza's line some more minutes. So yeah, that's an A plus for me. Yeah, that's pretty much it for our midseason report cards. Let's move on to the rest of the NHL because this isn't only a Leafs podcast; it's also a hockey podcast. So, we got a lot of trade rumors. So we got Eric Stahl. Um, Apparently might go back to Carolina, which would be amazing. That would be actually really cool to see. Eichel looks like he might be out of Buffalo even this year, which is like I'm in disbelief. Yeah, even some trade rumors to the Leafs and stuff. What do you guys think about what's going on around the league? Especially, I think when's trade deadline? Do you guys know? April 1st, maybe, or something like
It's
that.
April 12th.
Oh, April
April
12th. So
12th,
yeah,
I
we're
think.
like a month out. What do you guys think about all these trades and stuff coming in?
Um, I think like the teams are in trouble because of the whole cap situation and because of COVID and stuff. So like they're trying to like dump salary and trying to get rid of that cap. But like yeah, I feel like that's why they're trying to like trade players away. But like Eric Stahl going back to the Carolina Hurricanes and potentially like going on a playoff run, like that'd be crazy to see. And even him maybe even coming to the Leafs would kind of be like it'd be sick because like you'd have him when you're like maybe like top six and stuff, or he'd be playing on the fourth line maybe. But I wouldn't put him on the fourth line, maybe the third line. But yeah, he'd be a really great addition to any team he goes to.
Yeah, like I don't know how trade deadline's gonna work this year. It's gonna be weird, but if they lift that 14-day quarantine and if like a lot of players start to get vaccinated, I think you'll start to see a lot of moves because I think a lot of teams in the NHL are itching to make moves right now. There's a lot of teams who thought they could have competed but didn't perform to expectations, like Montreal. A lot of teams who are really good, like Toronto, who want to bolster the lineup. So, um, I think if that 14-day quarantine is gone, you're gonna see a flurry of trades because usually by now, like you would have seen a couple more trades go on around the league, like in a normal season. So I think it's just the fact that you got to go through that quarantine and all the travel situations. But yeah, we'll see, man. Like a lot of stuff happening. Tani, you have any thoughts on all these trade rumors or we talked a little bit before about that trade though, the Lettinen trade. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it was a solid pickup by Toronto. I don't know much about that goalie, but like it's nice to see Dubas shoring up our goalie depth, especially since we don't need a guy like Letton at the moment with Rasmus Sandin already there to pick up any like if anyone gets injured, Rasmus Sandin can fill in. I also think it's a nice thing that Dubas let Lettinen go because if you're a guy from the KHL, like you just won KHL Defenseman of the Year, and you come to the NHL and you're sitting out the entire season, like that's pretty shitty, right? So like, props to Dubas for moving him to a team that could use him. And regarding like the trade rumors, I like Eric Stahl going to Carolina because Carolina looks like they're a true contender this season, and Eric Stahl would give them some nice depth. For Buffalo, though, like I have no idea what's going on with Buffalo, but I think we mentioned last podcast that I think everyone on Buffalo is available for trade. Um, if a guy like Eichel is available, like you would have to imagine there's so many teams lining up for him, even though he has a $10 million cap. Um, but yeah, like who could afford Eichel right now? I'm trying to think.
Like honestly, if I was a team, I would look to move any sort of salary to get him because Eichel is a franchise player. He is like he's maybe one level below like that Matthews and McDavid level, and that's the type of player that can completely turn your whole franchise around. Like honestly, I think Detroit should be looking into it because Detroit's trying to tank. They're trying to get good players in the draft. Eichel is like you have an 80% chance that Eichel will be better than any player you draft, even higher than 80%. What am I saying? He's going to be better than 90% of the players you get in an NHL draft. So if I was a team rebuilding, trying to rebuild my core, who has a competing team that's not just there, like Nashville. Can you imagine if Eichel goes to Nashville, that team instantly becomes a juggernaut again because they're just missing the offense. So I think like a
You know what?
lot of teams.
I,
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I think Nashville would be a perfect fit. Like they have to go all in this season or at some point because like guys like Yossi, Ellis, Ekholm, they're all getting up there in age, right? So if you don't go all in now, like when are you gonna go all in?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention like if he goes to like New York or something, that's where like I think he's rumored. Um, if he goes like New York or LA, like that'd be crazy, you know, because like New York has like Lafreniere and stuff, but like I don't know the whole cap situation because they have Zibanejad and Panarin and stuff. But like if he goes to like those, you know, like the big market teams, like that'd be crazy.
The only team that I don't want to see him on is the Islanders,
Yeah,
because like you already know like the comparisons they're gonna be making. Like Eichel's better than Tavares. Like we never wanted Tavares. This is our plan all along.
Islander fans is a bunch of babies. It's just they haven't forgot about Tavares. It's been what 3 years now, and still haven't forgot about him. That's just
Ayo,
some
hear me out on
nonsense
this.
from them. I'm not sure.
Hear me out
I don't
on
want to
this.
be roasting them or anything, but
If you package Skinner with Eichel, are you really gonna have to pay that much?
probably still the same
Bro,
amount.
who's gonna afford that?
You wanna,
There
It's like
are
yeah,
19 mil.
you gotta have
there are five
yeah,
teams in the league. Listen. There are 5 teams in the league that have over $15 million in cap space.
Who are the
All right,
teams?
Chicago, who if they get Jack Eichel, holy shit, man, holy shit, that team's gonna be scary. The LA Kings, who once again, if they get Eichel, that team's gonna be scary. They're already amazing this year. Ottawa, which I don't think they're going to Ottawa. Like Eugene Melnick is not going to pay for Jeff Skinner's contract. New Jersey, who's very interesting because they have 2 other first overall picks, and if they could straight up trade one of those 2 guys, maybe another first rounder and maybe a B prospect, and get Eichel and Skinner because Skinner is negative value. So these guys have $17 million in cap space. Like I think they can do that. And then Detroit. So I don't know. I'm just throwing out an idea there. Like if you want Eichel and you can take on Skinner as well, you don't have to pay as much. So I don't know.
Yeah, and like it's Eiserman in Detroit. Like I totally forgot about that. So he could pull off some big moves.
That's what I'm saying. And like Skinner is not 100% washed. Like he had a bad year this year, but before this year, he's had like pretty decent seasons. So like a change of scenery could bounce Skinner's career back to another like 30 to 40 goal scorer again. So I don't know, man.
So what I read that if they wanted to trade Ico to the Rangers, they wanted Zibanejad in return for sure, and bunch of on picks and prospects. I think that's what the reporter was saying. Also, you guys are thinking Nashville. Who would Nashville trade to Buffalo? Who would be intriguing to Buffalo to even like consider it? I wanna get you guys'
But
opinion
yo,
on
this
that.
is the whole thing. Like, what does Buffalo want to do? Like, do they want players back to compete? Do they want just prospects and picks? Like, that's what we don't know. Like, at this point, like, there's no one they can trade Eichel for that will make their team better. Like right now, today, for the next season or two, there's nobody in the league, bar like Matthews, McDavid, which he's not getting traded for. That's gonna make their team better. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, what do they want? Do they want roster players? Like Zibanejad. Zibanejad's the type of player who you put on your team to get better. And
Yeah, okay. Let's just say fictional wise, it's prospects or even it's like it's prospects picks and like a roster player. Who do you think that Nashville will give up? If it's a combination of each, because I don't think Nashville has the assets to do it. They will have Granlund in the deal, or even like they need Sally going back the other way or something like that. So I would guess Duchesne or Johansson going back the other way for the cap, and then maybe Eli Tolvanen, who's their number one prospect, I guess, going back the other way. And you have like a first, two firsts, or like a second round pick or something like that. That's what I think of, but that's about it. And for the Rangers, I think it's Zibanejad, a beat out prospect, whoever that is, and like a first round pick or two first round picks on top of that, which is a lot of pay. But I got the generational talent, so
that's what I'm
I
saying. Like,
think
if
everyone
any
will
team
do it.
can do it, they should pull the trigger. Cause
Yeah,
like
he's a generational talent.
most
I'm
teams
not
in the
saying
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
he's
Most teams in the league, they'll go on that team and become their best players. So I don't know. We'll see about that. Next topic. Line A got benched again. Apparently he didn't play like the last 5 minutes of the game, and he didn't play any of the overtime for like one of the recent games. Like, what's going on with that? And his interview after, he's like, "Yo, I thought I was playing better now, but apparently not." So I don't know. Like, do you guys think Tortorella is being too hard on him? Like, in my opinion, I don't think you should be benching Patrick Laine, but
Yeah, I don't think it works in Columbus. Like Tortorella and Laine, like they're two completely like they both want to play two different styles of play. Like if imagine if a guy like Nylander or Ovechkin were on Tortorella's team, like I don't think either of them would be happy about what Tortorella is doing with them, because like I think we mentioned this like a couple of podcasts ago or two about Nylander. Like you can't be forcing players to be something that they're not, right? As a coach, you have to embrace what that player is and like maybe like help them a little bit, like become better defensively or whatever, right? But at some point, you can't expect them to be a Selkie level defenseman or forward all of a sudden, right? And I think Tortorella is like kind of doing that in Columbus. So I think he needs to tone it down a bit. Otherwise, like you have to look at moving away from him.
yeah, I think that's the key, right? Like, you can't force a player to play play a style they don't play. Like, if you have a player like Patrick Laine, you build your team around Patrick Laine. You use him to score goals, right? Like, and like you put him in a position to succeed. It seems like Tortorella does not put his players in a position to succeed, and he just drives stars out of that team. If I'm Columbus with a team that's already struggling, I would not want more stars driven out of my team, right? So, but we've beat that dead horse enough as it is. So we'll move on now. Biddington, $6 million, 6 years. This sort of relates back to that Freddie thing, because like, okay, one, if Biddington's getting $6 million, Freddie cannot ask for more than 5 million. There's no way he can ask for more than $5 million. Like, but because 6 million is already an overpayment for like Binnington for 6 years as well. Like, you should never sign a goalie to a 6 year contract. Who knows how good? Has there been any goalie that you guys can think of that's been like consistently good for 6 straight years?
Maybe Flurry. I'm not too entirely too sure. Maybe him. Consistently, not really. But Flurry's been like really good, average, and then really good. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not entirely too sure about that. To be honest with you, yeah, like I was saying in the other group chat, with the fantasy group chat, he got the same as Markstrom. I think Markstrom was 6 million too, if I'm correct. He got that on the free agent market. Like, that was the market that was for the top goalie. Like, he probably better than that kind of last year. He got 6 million. And Bennington, I think Markstrom is better than Bennington. And Bennington just got what, a 6 which is, it's kind of overpayment too. Like, I agree with Boss, it's an overpayment.
Yeah, I don't like that contract either. Like maybe 6 million is fine, like as a stretch, but for 6 years, like no way, right? Like I'm gonna predict it right now. You're gonna hear it first, but I think a couple of years down the line, that's gonna be a terrible contract for St. Louis. And yeah,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel
man.
like when you're signing goalies, you should be like keeping them to like a 3 year deal or like a 2 year deal. Like I feel like the like long-term contracts for goalies are not good because you don't know if they're gonna be consistently good throughout each season, right? So it's a risk, but I mean, if that's the risk they're willing to take to maybe contend, I think like they took it. So we shall see what happens.
Yeah, the only good contract I've seen is Zasky so far. That's a long term, a long payment. So he's getting 8 years times 9 million, I think, each year, or something along those lines. I'm not sure. I'm not too sure with his contract, but I know it's a long term deal with a lot of payment. But he's the top goal in the NHL, so you never know where that contract goes to, right? It could go to shit if Vasilevsky starts to regress as well.
All right. Speaking about goalies, apparently Lundqvist could be coming back to play for Washington. Um, Washington's ripping it right now. I don't know if they need Lundqvist. Um, Sort of like what happened with Brent Seabrook, right? Like, I don't like to see these all time like potentially Hall of Fame players come out and end their careers like this. Like, at this point, Lundqvist has proven himself. I don't know what he can do in Washington to like help them be better. So I don't know about that.
I don't think he cares about playing, to be honest. Like he just wants that cup.
Yeah, like that's the only thing missing from his resume at this point.
Do
Yeah, that's
we
what
do we think?
I was gonna say.
Okay, go ahead, Hamza.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. I'm like, I don't think he really like cares at all. He just wants that Stanley Cup, you know, that's it. Like that's I'm pretty sure that's his goal now, just to maybe like tag along and like join a team and just like go for like a cup run. Even if he plays like what, like maybe 5 games total, like he doesn't really care.
But he should have joined the Leafs then.
Do we?
So can you imagine if like Holtby was actually one of the goalies for the Leafs? That'd actually be so sick.
Yeah, that'd be
Opie
sick.
or Lundqvist?
Lundqvist, not
Lundqvist.
Hopi. Hopi's terrible now. I don't know what the hell happened to him. age caught up to him, I guess. Um, do we really think Washington like um a cup contender anymore, or is that too like too harsh for them now? Like, do we consider them a cup contender or not?
Yeah, I think so. They're playing great. Ovi's still Ovi. Like Chara has proven year in year out, no matter his age, like he's a championship defender. So I think Washington could go for it. I think they can definitely win a round or two, and after like after the first or second round, anything can happen. So you never know, man.
That's true. Um,
All right, let's end off on this new ESPN deal. Um, looks like it's gonna be bringing a ton of money to the NHL. Um, I love this because when you think about sports in the United States, it's ESPN, and like I've always thought, I'm like, bro, like ESPN is the place to watch sports, and everywhere you look, it's only hockey, it's only football and basketball and maybe some baseball. So having hockey thrown into ESPN is only gonna grow. Like imagine if in Canada there was no hockey on SportsCenter TSN. It was only on some like third random channel. Like imagine like CBC was the only place you can watch hockey, right? Like that would hurt the sport because it's not on the premier sports channel. So I think this is going to bring in a lot of money and a lot of fans into the league, which is exactly what we need to help the Leafs grow.
I 100% agree with you. This is why they decided to play this season. Or else they wouldn't have, cause the new TV deal was up. Um, I remember back in the 04, 04, 04, 05 Laka, they had ESPN, and ESPN backed out of the deal because they thought the NHL was taking a step behind, and I guess they were right because they were taking a step behind in terms of like like product and stuff. Cause um even though Ovechkin Crosby coming into the league, like the whole league was taking a step back. Like right, so it's really good to have them back after what like a 15-year stretch or like a 16-year stretch or something like that. It's really good to have them back because then that way we can go to the game in the U.S. and like yeah, it's just great to have them back because NBCSN was just garbage because they hired the most garbage analysts. Um, yeah, they weren't really all that good for going the game. Um, yeah. Also, I was gonna bring up a point. I forgot. This is only the um A deal. There's a B deal going on the side. It's either NBC or Fox apparently. According to Sean Shapiro, who'd been on the who'd been on this for like a long time. He said that he said that yeah, Fox or Valley Sports are gonna rename it Valley Sports for because of betting and stuff. Yeah, they need to they're gonna have like a video of some sort coming up very soon. Also the streaming rates, that's a huge deal as well because ESPN Plus is gonna be streaming all the games. Um, they got Disney as well, which is big, which is huge because they want to be able to do that as well. Yeah. But also what sucks is the regional blackouts. They're still gonna be happening, so that sucks as well.
Yo, it's gonna be jokes seeing Stephen A. Smith talking about hockey because you know he's usually like a
That's so true.
basketball thing.
That's
Yeah,
so
usually a
funny. Can you
basketball
imagine like
insider.
Stephen A. Smith yelling about like Patrick Laine and John Tortorella or something? Like that'd be so amusing.
Bro, honestly,
Yeah, that's
that's
gonna
what
be
we need
jokes.
to like. That's what we need to get NHL like more popularity in the U.S.
The one negative to this is it's gonna help the United States Olympic team be better in the next 10 to 15 years. So maybe this is not what we want, guys.
To be honest, I think it's already better than Team Canada. Just saying, it's already
Okay,
Relax
buddy,
there, buddy.
chill.
yeah. Just
Whoa,
saying.
whoa, 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 whoa,
Bro,
whoa.
Their
Step
goalie,
Yo,
back,
check
step
their
this
back,
guy's
goalie,
passport.
their
step
goalies
back,
are
step back,
hundred
step
percent
back,
better than
step back.
ours. The
who gives a
goalies are
shit about
hundred
the
percent better
goalies,
than
bro? You
Whoa.
got
the
Crosby,
Yo,
goalie.
hot
Yeah, the
Connor
take,
goalie. He
McDavid.
hot take
fucking
by
sick.
Jascan, eh?
Bro. It's a
Yo,
hot
hot
take.
take by
It's a hot
Jascan.
take.
This guy just mentioned the most
Hot take.
hottest take of the whole
Okay,
season, year,
listen,
in
listen
history.
to this. How many players from Team Canada would make Team USA?
Um,
Every single one.
Team USA.
Every single player
most
on Team
likely,
Canada
yeah.
would make it to Team USA. How many players from Team USA would make it to Team Canada?
Most of them. They
No.
could they basically swap. They could basically swap. Yeah,
Are
Eichel,
you
Matthews, Kane.
crazy? Oh
They
my
would.
God, guys.
No. I'm just gonna wait until the Olympics. But I'm cheering for Team Canada. I'm just saying it could be an upset. I'm just saying it could be an upset. I'm not saying
Guys,
they're
does
better,
it
but
sound
it
like
could be
he's
an
cheering for
upset.
Team Canada? I don't know.
No, I'm not
sounds
saying for
like
Team USA. I'm a Canadian guy. I'm just saying.
Nah,
somebody check
because
his passport.
Matthews on Team America. That's
I'm
why.
not saying because of Matthews. Like I'm not saying because of Matthews either. I'm just saying because it seems like I'm just saying it could leapfrog. It could leapfrog. Like you were just saying, it could leapfrog. U.S. could leapfrog Canada because Canada not
Okay,
having
wait.
as much success
Who's
as they early
who's
on.
whose defense is better? Now tell me.
Canada, no question.
Exactly.
Canada
But
forwards, no
maybe
question. Canada defense, no
John
question.
Carlson, Seth, okay. The goaltending is better.
Seth
though.
Jones
I'm
would
just
not
saying.
make Team
The-
Canada's decor. There's no way
Yeah,
Seth
they
I
Jones
said
would.
would.
Yeah, he
maybe
would.
yeah.
No,
Yeah, he would. Yeah, he would.
No.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, he would.
I don't think so. Like,
Who's
you're telling me-
Goaltending?
I think Seth Jones is better than Morgan Riley. We cannot agree on that, can we not? Even though he's having off, he's having one of the baddest years out of our defensemen. I can't lie. Okay, now I take that point back. USA is not better than Canada. Okay.
Nah,
I
it's
take
too
that
late,
point
bro.
back.
You
Oh.
said it. You
I
said
just,
it.
I
We
just,
have
too
to
late.
wait.
You already
just
said it,
the
yo.
goaltending.
It's too
Okay, I
late.
already said it. I already said it. Okay.
I guarantee
Hot
you
take.
look at Just Karin's
Hot take.
birth certificate, it's gonna say he was born in the States, bro. He's an undercover agent. I know it.
You guys are fucking joking. You guys are joke.
Nah, you're
Low-key,
you're
you
an
see
American, bro.
Jasper's passport says born in Scottsdale, Arizona. Oh no.
Oh my God.
Bruh.
Bro, you're telling me Dylan
That's a
Larkin would
hot
make
take.
Team Canada?
Maybe.
No.
No, it depends.
No.
It
No, he
depends on
wouldn't.
team they're
No, he
building,
wouldn't.
guy.
Bro, you're telling me Max Pacioretty is gonna
Okay.
be on Team Canada? No.
No, Max Pacioretty is not gonna be on Team Canada.
No, but
I
this
know
is
that.
this is a top 9 winger on the States. So you're like, there's no way, man.
Okay.
Like,
we'll
the
have to wait
only
and see,
players
I'm just saying.
guaranteed a spot on Team Canada on the forward core, Matthews, Kane, and Eichel are only guaranteed. Okay?
Yeah.
On defense, maybe Seth Jones, maybe John Carlson. And then goaltending, yeah, they have the better goals. But that's it.
Yeah. We're seeing it in the NHL right now. Goaltending can steal tons of games too, so you never know.
But yo,
right? That's what
Canada has never had the best
That's what I'm saying.
goaltending.
I know. You have McDavid, you have McKinnon, you have Matthews. I'm sorry, you have
Like,
Marner,
Ryan Miller
yeah,
was better than Carey Price.
Is
That
Roberto
wasn't even a
Luongo,
debate.
no?
Or Luongo, whoever it was. Like, Ryan Miller was the best goalie in that
Yeah,
Olympics.
he was the best goalie. Yeah.
And it didn't matter because you had Crosby.
Yeah, that's true. You have the better offense. The offense could strike. That offense is lethal as fuck. Like, yeah, Matthew. And he has a shot on line that could show you Thorne and O'Reilly.
And you had Leafs legend, Joe Thornton.
Oh, yeah, man.
No, Joe Thornton.
Leafs
No,
legend.
Joe Thornton's not making it, man.
No, we're talking about
Yeah,
back in
obviously
that
not. No, obviously
We're
not.
talking about the
now.
old
Yeah,
Olympics.
okay.
All right,
Yeah, the
we
core
should probably
period.
close out, man. It's been almost 2 hours. Harmon or Tanegan, you guys have any closing thoughts on the ESPN deal before we finish off? Because we got mine and just Karin's thoughts already.
Okay, yeah, I just want to mention. I just feel like just like the whole Stephen A. Smith thing. I feel like that's gonna be like good for the NHL because Stephen A. Smith is usually like a person who talks about basketball and he yells and he goes on these crazy rants and stuff. It's gonna be funny to see. It's gonna be more like entertaining, and it's like like it could get people in the U.S. to watch like hockey games and stuff. So like I feel like it's like they're growing the game as Jasmine said. So like I think this is a positive for them.
Yeah, and like my main takeaway from the ESPN deal is like it's gonna bring more viewers from the US. Like if you look at all those basketball fan pages on Instagram, they all have videos of like Stephen A. Smith like saying something funny or like going something that goes viral, right? And if guys like Stephen A. Smith like talk about hockey more and more, like people 100% start to take notice, right? And then in the end, that just means more money for the NHL, right? So works out.
I need to help the salary cap increase because the Leafs signed all these contracts with the intent of the cap going up, and these contracts looking insane in the last like 2 to 3 years of their deals. And right now, this is really screwing up the Leafs' future plans because the Leafs are planning to have way more cap space 2 to 3 years down the road from now. So, if anything, this and the new expansion team should really help boost the salary cap and hopefully rebound from this COVID loss.
So remember when Max Kellerman he said that if the Martians were pointing a beam down on Earth and I had one person to choose Steph Curry or Andre Iguodala, and he put Andre Iguodala. That was the most funniest shit ever. And there was one he's like there was a meme. It's like who would you the Martian same thing. Who would you choose on the Leafs to take a penalty shot? And he said Jimmy BC. I was like, what the fuck? Jimmy BC. And then there's another one, the Brendan Sutter. I'm like, that's jokes. Imagine those kind of stuff for the NHL. That would grow the game so much.
Yeah, it'll be really good. Well, we should probably end there because it's been a long one today. Thank you guys for listening. Again, always make sure you guys are liking our videos, liking our podcast, subscribing. Make sure you follow us on our social media pages, and see you guys next time.